The Google Pixel 7 is here, and with it comes a number of noticeable improvements across the board. However, one of the most exciting improvements come in form of the chipset, as is the heart of any smartphone. Google's Tensor in last year's Pixel was pretty good, though had a number of issues. This time around, the company has said to improve battery life and other areas in Tensor G2, and the specifications are basically an iteration of Tensor from the last year. Google Tensor G2 doubles down on the same CPU formula as Tensor. Comparing both of these chipsets reveals a lot of similarities, with the basis of each set of cores being retained. Google is still keeping its somewhat abnormal 224 setup and has opted instead to slightly buff the clock speeds of the big and medium cores. In theory, this means that Google will have an advantage in performance in any applications that uses two threads for processing, though it depends on how quickly it throttles. Google bumped up the middle cores to a pair of A78 cores as well, which is a very welcome change. It was puzzling last year that Google had opted for a pair of A76 cores, given that they are both worse in power efficiency and worse in performance than the A77 and the A78. This should hopefully see some clear performance and efficiency boosts, thus improving battery life as well. But what about the GPU? Tensor G2 uses the Mali G710 MP07, which is similar to the Dimensity 9000, though there are likely to be modifications which could differentiate itself from it. The improvements will be shown in the core count, but majorly in graphics and vocal performance. Last time around, the 20-core beast of a G78 in Tensor, while powerful, only really retained that power for several seconds before beginning to throttle. It maintained high frequencies to start with, but the high energy usage and heat generated as a result was a major issue. Seeing Google dialed it down a bit and lean into much more normal GPU configuration for mobile does give hope. This brings us to the chip's TPU. Google is advertising that Tensor G2's TPU is next generation, improving on what was already an impressive addition to the Tensor's SoC last year. Last year's Google's Tensor chipset had reference to the Edge TPU in drivers. If it's the same Edge TPU that the company advertises in its cloud performance and in Quora devices, then it's capable of 4 thoughts at just 2 watts of power. In the case of Google Tensor G2, Google says that the TPU is both 60% more powerful and 20% more efficient. Those are some pretty big improvements given that what the Edge TPU was capable of, assuming it was the same, was already pretty good enough. It powers features like photo on blur and scenic blur. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more Tensor news and performance difference between the Snapdragon and the Apple's Bionic chip. See you in the next video. Bye.